All right, hello, good morning, good evening, and good night. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic because today we're going to be talking about the Yieldmax funds. More specifically, we're going to be talking about TSLY, Square, and CONY. And the reason being is because we're going to determine, are these companies, the Yieldmax ETFs, are they just returns of your capital? Are they just a return of your initial investment? And when looking at stock price charts like TSLY, you might say it's an obvious return of investment, but then when comparing it to SQY and CONY, you don't see that at all. And so today, what I want to talk to you guys about is my portfolio regarding the Yieldmax positions as well. I'm taking you through some of the dividends that I received over the past 3 months because I have not bought any Yieldmax for the past 3 months. So this is a prime example to see, is Yieldmax just a return of your investment, or is there actually benefits to owning Yieldmax, which include appreciation and great dividends? We're going to bust out the calculator, going to do some calculations. This is going to be a video centered for Yieldmax. And I hope you guys do enjoy this video. We're up to 4,393 subscribers, 7 subscribers away from 4,400 subscribers. So thank you to everyone who's making that possible. So today, let's get into this video. Extremely exciting because I have not purchased any TSLY, Square, or CONY in the past 2 months. And what I want to do here is I want to show you. So the last dividend that I received was April 12th. And just kind of going through here, just to be pretty transparent, you'll see any kind of buys when they pop up like this. But this is just TSLY's stock split right here. So that's nothing to be concerned about. And you'll see that I have not bought anything. The last date that I bought was February 5th. That was 40 shares of TSLY. And in this portfolio, it's been going down and I have not bought anything. So you might be saying, look, this already looks like a return of capital investment right here for the Yieldmax funds. Well, you know what? Let's take a closer look. So the day that I purchased 40 shares of TSLY was February 5th. Let's find February 5th right here. So we scooch over, we see February 5th right here. Zooming into this marker, it looks about $8,069. You can see it on the right side of the screen there with the marker going up and down. So I'm going to put that in so we remember. $8,069. Cool. So that is exactly the marker that we had on February 15th, on February 5th, when we purchased that 40 shares, those 40 shares of TSLY. So since then, we haven't purchased anything. All we've been doing is receiving our dividends. Keep in mind, we do have a lot of other dividend payers that are not just Yieldmax. We have high payers like Clip, for example. We also have MPW. We have QQQY. So it's not just TSLY, Square, and CONY, but it's a bunch of other pairs at the same time. But we started at $8,069. And now where is the portfolio at today? It's at roughly about $7,869. So 2 months later, we are going to subtract that 7,000. And just to be absolutely sure, 7,869. Let's do it. $7,869. So $200 right on the nose. Look at that. So really, the drop in our portfolio from February 5th all the way to today, which is April 14th, over 2 months later, is $200. Now, in this time, have we received more than $200 from our investments? And I do have that up here. In February, we received $169.75. In March, we received $168.98. But to add more fuel to the fire here, in the month of April, which I haven't even calculated yet, we've received multiple dividends, including QQY. We've also received our TSLY dividends. We've received our CONY, and we've received our Square dividends. So adding all these up, we have roughly about probably $70 to $80 in dividends in this month alone from the Yieldmax funds. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to subtract $80 because that is the amount we got paid in April. I'm going to subtract roughly about, I'll subtract the full amount there. So 168 equals, and then roughly 169. So even in the past 2 months, we're up about $200 in our investment. And I know it doesn't seem that way, but we think about it like this. We purchased back on February 5th. At about $869. We had a value that went down roughly $200 or so. But in that current time period, we received roughly about $169, $168, and about roughly $80 or so from the month of April, which we're already halfway through. All of the Yieldmax dividends got paid out. And I understand this is not only Yieldmax dividends, but one thing to add is I want to go and take you back to February 5th for each of these Yieldmax funds. TSLY, a great example of a fund that lost money. $17.56 was the price on February 5th. What's the price today? $15.33, down $2. I currently have 70 shares of TSLY, and so you could see here, I lost about $140 if the price went down $2. So going to our next one, we have Square. Square is an example of how it gets better. You know what? It's not just a return of capital. TSLY is a bit of a return of capital at the current moment because we're not seeing much appreciation in the underlying stock, which is Tesla. But for a company like Square, which has done pretty good over the Yieldmax existence, we can see going back to February 5th, the price was at $20.68. Well, we're at $23. So we went from $20.68 to $23. That's an increase of $3 per share, and I own 22 shares. So that's roughly $66 right there. Plus, of course, all the dividends that we've received from Yieldmax, which are very high dividends for these 3 ETFs. Now going to CONY, which is the best example. CONY is not a return of your investment, not a return of your capital, because CONY was at $19.15 on February 5th. It's at $26 today. And CONY has a really fantastic yield. I'll see if they have it posted here of, as it mentions, 131%. And you know what? It is crazy, but it's true because I have been receiving, when you take the monthly dividend yield and you multiply it by 12, you are getting the annual dividend, which is 131%. So have the Yieldmax funds been a return of capital for me? No, they haven't. The ones like TSLY, yes. TSLY has been a return of capital because the underlying stock Tesla has been on a downtrend and it's pretty much been returning. All they've been doing is returning the capital because they keep trending down, and all my money that's coming back is money that I could reinvest, but then the stock continues to trend down. But in uptrending companies like Square, for example, in the underlying, SQY has done well. If you were to buy it at certain markers at the same time, for example, when I bought TSLY, you'd be up a few percent, and you're also receiving your Yieldmax dividends. Same thing with CONY. You'd be up a lot more and still be receiving your Yieldmax dividends. One thing to think about with Yieldmax is the underlying stock. If the Yieldmax version's doing good, then the underlying stock must be doing fantastic. And if you were to invest in the underlying stock like Coin, if you were investing in Square, you would probably do a little bit better than the Yieldmax version. But the whole deal with the Yieldmax version is that they generate monthly income. And that's why people invest in Yieldmax. You're taking stocks like Amazon, Facebook, Google, Coney. You have Disney, Netflix. These are all stocks that don't pay dividends. And what Yieldmax is doing is they're basically saying you can invest in the price appreciation of the stock you like and receive dividends on a non-dividend paying company. So that is just a big overview of why I feel that Yieldmax, although certain ones don't perform as well, as TSLY has not performed as well, although it's not indicative of future performance, ETFs like Square and ETFs like Coney for Yieldmax have done fantastic. They've returned amazing amounts of capital and appreciation, and I do not think they are a return of capital. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please do remember to subscribe to 4,393 subscribers. I want to say I hope you guys enjoyed. If it provided you value, give this video a like, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.